Hello, welcome to another one of my live streams. My name's David Burns, I'm from Marshall Chips, and for the next couple of weeks of lockdown, what I'm going to be doing on my Friday streams is going through track by track on our most recent album, May You Live in Interesting Times. I'll tell you a little bit about how the songs came together, what they're about, how to play them, and show you a little bit of what went into the recording of them. I've got my multi-track set up here. This is the all the tracks that we recorded with, and I'll talk you through the album, starting with this week, track 1, A Stopped Clock, The King of Nowhere. This is the opening track on May You Live in Interesting Times. Most of the album is quite a dreamlike album. It's quite kind of nightmarish. This is the most kind of in-your-face track of the album, the most kind of outright rocker on there. So we put that up as track 1 just to kick things off before things kind of go more psychedelic, weirder later on in the album. This was written. It's also the most kind of directly political one. The whole album's quite political, but this is the most direct one, the most obvious one. This is written about Boris Johnson, who said he wanted to be king of the world, reportedly in one of his biographies as a child. That was his kind of life's ambition. He's managed to fail his way upward into Prime Minister. We're not a fan in the band, let's put it like that. We wrote this song, I wrote the lyrics to the song the day after he spoke in Parliament and said that Joe Cox, the MP who was murdered by a Brexit fanatic, would want Brexit just to get done. And the fact that you could stand up there and say something as abhorrent as that, it all poured out into the lyrics of this song. A stopped clock is more right than this. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day. Boris Johnson is not right that much. So that's what the opening track is about. And I'll show you a wee bit of how to play it now, and then I'll show you through the recordings that we did. So this starts off with a massive big power chord, capo on the first fret. It's we start off with a power chord on the 8th fret, 2nd string down. So this is an E flat, but you play in the D shape because of the capo. Slide it down 2, and down to an E minor. So that's your intro. And the verses of the song it's quite a simple pattern, just E minor and C with a couple of hammer-on pull-offs. So we start off with an E minor, and then C, pull off on the B string, 1st fret. Nope, I've said that the wrong way around. So the first, I've made a mistake already. So the first one is a hammer-on on the B string up to the 3rd fret. Then it's the pull off the first, and then there's the wee riff that goes so this is on the G string, so you're on taking the capo there, so it's 2, 4, 5, and you go up to the B string. You can see I haven't rehearsed much recently because I'm trying to remember how my own songs go. Before it goes into the chorus, thrash away on a D, pull off on the second fret on the high E string to go down to the C next. Pull off, back to the C. D, and back to the verse, C minor. And then for the bridge is it's an A suspended second, so that's an A, but without the B string, leaving that open. Wee bit of wobble in the whammy bar, and then a B flat suspended second. And that's basically the whole song. The album version recorded using a bit of amp tremolo and amp distortion. No pedals used at all on the album version, but when we play it live, rather than using the tremolo built into the amp, I'm using a tremolo pedal, and I'm using a blues breaker just to give the guitar a bit more boost rather than cranking it massively loud when I'm at home, just for the sake of the neighbours. So the whole song starts off with that big loud power chords. That's why we wanted to put that up as track 1 on the album. We felt that was quite a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It felt right to open the album with anyway. So that's how that goes. Let's go to the multi-track now. So we recorded with myself, Peter and Michael all in the room. So we recorded at our Shabby Road Studios. Let's just solo out the drums. Michael, who engineered and produced it, close mic'd everything on the drums. We've also got a room mic on the drums. That's the bass and that's the guitar. So that was all that was happening live in the room. Recorded a guide vocal live as well, but we'll put the vocal track on. So this is how it sounded live in the room as we recorded.
Stop clock, it's more right than this. Stop clock, it's more right than this. Stop clock, it's more right than this. Of the dead, all this is never ends. right than this stop clock. It's more right than this stop clock. It's more right than this. See what's coming. She's your alibi. These things are pulling. No surprise. Stop clock is more right than this. Stop clock is more right than this. Stop clock is more right than this. The king of nowhere in common disguise. We Belmont all sensationalized. We bury our head and the headline lies. Stand idle by. Stand idle by. Stand idle by.
Okay, so that is the track as it was recorded live in the room at our Shabby Road Studios with our bass player Michael on production. So that is exactly as we play it live. That was the bass track that we started building on for the studio version. So if we go back to the multi-track and let's take out all the parts that were just soloed there. I'll now talk you through all the extra things that we added in. So these are all the guitar overdub channels, and we can start off with another part added in on the Wildcat. This is an extra rhythm part. And just by adding that in to thicken up the sound of the guitar. Let's put the bass, drums and guitar back in. I'll bring that guitar up a little bit so you can hear it more clearly in the mix. And that's just in there to fatten up the sound of the rhythm guitars. Coming up, you can see there's another couple of guitars that are coming in that are just adding a little bit more details to the chorus. So let's go ahead to them. And these are pretty much just the same part doubled. And then a little bit of detail in the bridge. So these are just picking out a little bit more of the chords of the chorus. Just add a little bit more detail in. So let's bring the other parts in and let you hear all those together. So those are all the overdubs I could remember doing. But there are another two. And I was talking to Mike today to see if we could get to the bottom of exactly what the other two are about, because I can't remember if these were parts that we added in on the day with the Rickenbacker, or if these were a couple of extras that we put in, because when we went back to mix the album we recorded a few more parts using Mike's Jaguar guitar, because I wasn't expecting to be recording when we were mixing, so I didn't have my guitars with me. Do you have an opinion on what this is, Tinker? Do you remember what is that the Rickenbacker or the Jaguar, Tinker? I don't think the cat knows. But I didn't remember recording these, and these are quite interesting because this is much closer to what the original demo for this song sounded like. When I first started writing the music for this, before I had the lyrics, it was going to be a slower, quieter, more kind of spindly guitar sound. Once we started working on it in the studio, once Pete and Mike got involved, the song became much more strident and started using the overdrive and the tremolo effect. And we wanted to go for a much bigger, fuller, more aggressive sound on it. I'd forgotten that we did put a couple of those spindly little guitars in there. So you can just about hear them in the full mix, and they just add a little bit of detailing into the chord progressions. There's one thing that I do in the live version that apparently I didn't do in the recording, which is in this section here. When we're playing it live, I kick on a Holy Grail Max pedal by Electro Harmonics to put on a reverse reverb effect during this period here. And I must have started doing that after we recorded it, because that is not on any of the guitars that we recorded for the album. So that is an effect that I only do in the live version of the bridge. So I'll just pause that there, and if I can get back to the video control, get the video mixer back up, let's go back on. So I'll show you what happens in the live version here. So this is with the reverse reverb effect on. Adjust the pedal a wee bit, get the timing right. So this takes what would normally be the reverb sound and plays it backwards. But as I say, that must have been something that just came into the song after we started doing it live, because that is not in the album version at all. So that is all the guitars. There's one more thing that I want to show you in the overdubs, and this is an interesting little thing that we do again with reverb, not with reverse reverb on the guitar, but with the drum reverb, because Mike decided he didn't want to use any plugins, no digital reverb. He wanted to do it completely naturally, and we have a setup where we use the corridor going into our studio to record reverbs in, because it's a really massively long corridor that echoes all around the walls. And if you set up a PA system at one end, microphone at the other, and play the drums back and record them, what you get is this is a totally natural reverb recorded in a long corridor that we can mix in. So let's add that into the sound of the room microphone and the overheads. Let's just cut it down to just the room mics. This is one microphone set up in the middle of the room that's capturing everything that was happening live as we recorded it. The whole album is based on the three of us together in a room playing, because there's a tightness and interaction you get when everything is completely live that you just can't get by building tracks up piecemeal. That's one of the reasons why we haven't done much recording other than just demos during lockdown, because we can't get the three of us together. And even though we could record everybody separately, there's something magical that happens when you get everybody in a room playing together that you just can't do separately. So let's take that out and put in we double track the vocals, and there's some backing vocals from Pete as well. So now let's put absolutely everything in, all the guitar overdubs, the drum reverb, the double track vocals and Pete's backing vocals. And this is Stop Clock, The King of Nowhere.
Words in the mouth of the dead. never ends. It's never said. You never meant for it to come to this. You should have always known. Stop clock. It's more right than this. Stop clock. It's more right than this. Stop clock. It's more right than this. You see what's coming. Shush your alibi. Slings away. No surprise. Stop clock, it's more right than this. Stop clock, it's more right than this. Stop clock, it's more right than this. The king of nowhere in common disguise. We bound with all sensationalized. We bury our head in the headlight lights. And I go by. Stand, I go by. Stand, I go by.
I hope you've enjoyed this wee look at one of the tracks on our album May You Live in Interesting Times. That was track 1, Stop Clock, King of Nowhere, and that's from the album, which is out now on Spotify and on our Bandcamp page, which is marshallchipped.bandcamp.com. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please like, subscribe. I'll be back next week taking a look at another one of the tracks from the